I think there's no doubt that she can have a more lucrative sponsorship portfolio representing China. And I think the reasons for that is if she was part of the US team, she'd be one of a number of stars. But there's already some big names there. Michaela Schifrin, Shaun White, Chloe Kim. In China, she's the face of a new generation and really targeting some new sports as well. The sports that she's in with slopestyle and the half-pipe in freestyle skiing, this is sort of a new, younger demographic, which is an absolute dream from a commercial point of view. So as China continues to develop its push to drive forward its winter sports industry, and she can be the face of that at a home games for China, she can definitely have more of an effect and have more influence from a Chinese perspective than from a US perspective.
Turning to the saga now with Camila Vieira, do you think it's setting a dangerous precedent for skaters here? We know the sensitivities, of course, in this case, given the fact that she's a child. But does anything in Monday's ruling discourage Russia from doping minor athletes?
No, it doesn't, but I think it's important to remember, and this point has not been very well communicated by the authorities to the rest of the world, who's generally there's outrage that someone who's tested positive is allowed to compete. The ruling on Monday was simply to say she's a minor, and we're not going to overturn the decision to say that she can compete on Tuesday. There's lots of suggestion that she will still be prosecuted in due course. It was not a ruling on the merits of the case. And I think a lot of people thought, well, oh, she's been cleared. That's not the case. It is a bit of a mess because now she's competing, and a lot of people are now suspicious, both of her team and the individual involved. So it's there's sort of lots of egg on lots of faces, if you will, from the IOC and from the World Anti-Doping Association, as well as the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and of course, you know, a difficult situation for the 15-year-old athlete. But I think there's plenty of blame to be shared in this sort of unusual situation.
But also difficult for the other athletes, you know, competing with her. There won't be a medal ceremony following the women's individual competition. Does this solution ignore the root issue here, that, you know, the entire doping enterprise is a Russian one, and so why should other athletes from other countries have to suffer for it?
That's a very good point. You know, this is potentially now going to involve two sets of athletes. The mixed teams, which was the initial one where there was the suspension, where the ROC team won gold. We still don't know how those medals are going to shake out. Does the fourth place team move up into third? Do the Americans go from silver into gold? And then we now have this slightly farcical situation where there could be 25 skaters competing instead of 24 in case Valieva is in the top 24, which she almost certainly will be. So again, whoever wins that competition is not going to know potentially what color medal they win, and there won't be a medal ceremony for many months. So it is definitely depriving athletes of their Olympic moment, and that's definitely unfortunate. There will be a moment later on, but it's not quite the same. So again, it's a tricky situation. Legal process is sort of getting in the way of the sports, and we all want to see a decision made quickly, but unfortunately that's not really how it works when it comes to these often drawn out doping cases.
All right, well, meanwhile we're on the downward slope in terms of these Olympics. How are you expecting the rest of the week's events to round out?
Well, today, really, I think you mentioned earlier in the show, it's a tale of three ladies. Valieva, it's early Tuesday morning, of course, here at Beijing time. Ayhan Gu has just got underway in her bid for her second gold. Michaela Schifrin tries to bounce back from disappointment in the women's downhill. And then, of course, Camila Valieva starts her bid for singles gold. But elsewhere, it's been a pretty good games for China so far. They got that fifth gold last night. Xu Mingtao, what a story she's had, going back all the way to 2010. And I was there at the Vancouver Olympics when she finished sixth. Then silver 4 years later, then ninth 4 years ago, and now finally a gold for her. So plenty of chances still to come for the Chinese team. In the men's aerials, there's any one of four athletes that could challenge for gold there. Ayhan Gu has two good chances and potentially some chances elsewhere in the 500-meter short track with defending champion Wu Dajing. So lots to keep an eye on here in Beijing, and it should be an exciting few days.